Hello again. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. I want to challenge that on this occasion. I think there are occasions when absence makes the heart grow colder. And I'd like to tell you a story. In one of my leadership roles, one of my best people, we're going to call him Paul. It's not his real name, but that will do for the moment. And Paul was a really good person, reliable, trustworthy, loyal. I could depend upon him. And I was going through a busy time. And in those days, I would do my one-to-ones, my job chats. I'd often would go for a walk in the park or somewhere and have a chat. And I'd find out how people were and look after them, those kind of things. And Paul said, look, leave me alone for a while. I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot on. Look after those who need the help. I'll be okay on my own. I was glad of that offer, and I took him at his word. And we were remote, so I didn't see him all of the time. And so after a while, I remember meeting up for a meeting and Paul was there, and I could see his chin was down there. And I said, hey, what's up? And his response was, you don't bother with me these days. I think I'd overdone it. There was too much absence. And I think in remote managing and remote leading, we need to remember that people may say they're all right, but they're not always all right. And people may say, I'm okay, look after the others, but it isn't always the case. We need to keep our finger on the pulse, whatever happens. And another interesting part of all of this I want to share with you is that, not in this case as it happened, but in other cases, one of the things I've noticed is that when we're in leadership, it's that balance of us being, on the one hand, being human, and on the other hand, wearing our heart on our sleeve is so important, because so often I've actually heard people talk about, well, you've got a lot on at the moment. We pass our stress onto our people and they end up feeling sorry for us. And that's not going to help. Or it can actually undermine our authority and our credibility as well. I do remember I'd done a survey with some managers and team leaders I was working with, and we'd done a survey about the various things that they were doing. It was about behavior and practice within this organization. And then after they'd surveyed their staff, I met with the managers and with the team leaders on their own, and we went through the results. And I also remember there was one team leader in particular. We were sat there going through these results, and one of this team leader's people had made some comment about things were too pressured, nobody cared. It's not the team leader's fault, this person said. It's higher management. And I know my team leader's under a lot of pressure and not getting any help. And my question to the team leader was, who told her that? And sometimes we've got to protect ourselves as well as our people in this sense of what we say, and we let people know. Victor Kayam, the man who bought Remington, if you can remember him, one of the things that he always said was, when you're going through a bad time, yes, you need somebody to talk to, but don't let it be your direct reports. They need your strength and your help, not you turning to them for help. Turn somewhere else for your help. Another thought, an absence makes the heart grow colder as well. I was always taught in leadership, when I first moved into leadership, I was always taught the importance of visibility as a manager. And yet now, of course, a lot of managers are sat at home while their staff are out working or other things are happening. So why is visibility important? All kinds of reasons. And sometimes it's so that people know we care, but other times when we're not there, some people may take advantage of it. So some may feel, well, we're not bothered with, our boss isn't interested. Others actually will see a lack of our presence sometimes, that we trust them. And that will be positive, that will be good. But others may think, this is my opportunity. And some will even undermine your authority when you're not visible. Thing is, there's no rights or wrongs in all of this. I often refer to this book, Leadership is an Art, by Max Dupree. Sometimes there just aren't any rights and wrongs, but we have to work through this. We've got to consider the scenarios and decide what we should be doing, what should be happening. I often find myself challenging managers who have people who work on the road or whatever. When do we get to meet them? What should the frequency be? But we do need to see them face to face sometimes. And I often challenge managers who've got shift workers. When did you last call in on a night shift? Or spend a night shift with your people? And sometimes calling in, some managers say, well, they'll think I'm really sneaking up on them and trying to catch them out. And my response to that is, maybe some people might actually need catching out. But often I will say, look, schedule it, tell them you're coming in. And they'll likely feel valued that they're working a night shift. You're willing to go and work that night shift with them, or be there, or at least give them a visit. There's no rules to it. Leadership is an art. But I think what is important, that we know what's going on in our organization and with our team members. We understand where they're coming from and what their needs are. One last example on it. Working in a building society, I had a group of employees who were complaining because one of their directors, they never saw this person. And what was interesting in this particular instance, in this case study for me, was that they didn't need to. But it was about managing expectations. Somehow they had an expectation that they should be seeing more of this director. And actually they had enough people in the chain of management looking after their needs, but somehow nobody had managed the expectations. So for them, they saw it as this managing director and the company not caring about them. Now, equally, I'll often say to people at all levels, do you know what? A visit to site wouldn't hurt sometimes. Popping round and one-to-one asking people how they're doing. It's not a bad thing to do. There just are no rules to it. But what I'll do is I'll finish where I started. Absence can make the heart grow colder. What should we be doing with all of the people? No one answer. Work it out, think through it, but good luck with it. All the best.